Alright, hello boys, girls, and Kerbals of all ages. It is finally here. KSP2 has dropped. Now, this will just be a quick little overview of kind of my initial impressions, the game as is right now. Again, I would like to advise everyone that this is an early access game. There's not a whole lot to see, but what there is, I will say, is it's rather exciting. Again, coming from KSP1, where I had modded my game to all heck, the inventory did leave some to be desired. Now, for the most part, it is the same parts we've all known and loved from the base game. They have added a new rover cab, which I think is pretty cool. Again, I like how they've been pushing that. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, if they add robotics. Because that was a big thing I would do with my rovers. So like I said, parts are all there. Cool thing they did was they finally broke off nuclear power, so now it requires hydrogen and not liquid fuel, which they have since changed to methane. So our rockets are now methalox powered. I'm curious if they'll also do a hydrogen powered engine. Probably not. For those who have played mods like Interstellar and other stuff that have a lot of different fuels, a lot of different types of engines, and that made for some rather interesting combinations. Like we see, all the engines we know and love with a new, larger hydrogen deep space engine. Again, if you looked at the development path, they do want to leave the basic Kerbol system. And I think that's going to add a really interesting dynamic once they get in there. Right now, like I said, the game is just basic sandbox. There's no science. You can build rockets, send them around, like we did in that original KSP. I did not play the first KSP when it came out, so I wouldn't know what it was like. But I know playing in some of the early versions, I think it was like 0.22. I forgot what I was when I first started on. They just added in the new KSC, I believe, at that point. It was again rather bare compared to what we have now. So again, just kind of going through. They have added again some more stuff for deep space. So they added a 8-seat crew cabin. If you look at Command 2, they added a 4-person lander can and a 5-person command pod. Aerodynamics right now are rather lacking. I think part of this is because they did mention they wanted to add procedural wings, so there's only really one of each kind in the different sizes. Like we said, standard landing gear, again, large landing gear. I think the biggest addition was they added, one, in addition to just the labeling, which I think is kind of helpful. They added more stuff in the 3.75 and 5 meter areas. So they had larger fuel tanks, like I said, heat shields, the landing gear, pods, electrical parts. You can have a nuclear generator. Again, I think part of this is for the kind of interstellar components of it. Once you leave the solar system, you'll need more power generation, probably relying more on nuclear stuff. Again, communications arrays, same thing. They don't have the control kind of section anymore. They just put that in utility. So we have parachutes, we have RCS, stabilization, again, lights, ladders, again, with a larger ladder. So that's really it. They got rid of, let's go back in. They combined the VAB and the spaceplane hangar just into a singular vehicle assembly building that you can change your orientation. You can kind of see down there, you can see the orientation of the aircraft. So again, it's kind of long, tall, narrow, much as one would expect. So I haven't built a whole lot of stuff. I've built a singular aircraft, but I think even is it? I can't find it right now. That was bad. But it's for the most part, I think it's a rather interesting game mode right now. So it's, again, a lot of stuff is, so we have our new space center. So it has 2 runways, 4 launch pads, which I'm curious what that will mean. Because it's right now, I'm not seeing, obviously, a whole lot to go with it. Again, if we go in, the standard, or our standard Kerbol system, nothing too exciting there. Again, I'm sure eventually we'll scroll out even more, which is pretty cool. But again, right now we have Launchpad, VAB, tracking station. I'm assuming this will become our research station. Again, you have your astronaut complex, which I think is, the usual. They now have what's the training center, which you can use for tutorials. So, again, trying to get for those new to the game, those who've not played original KSP. Again, teaching you basics of orbital mechanics, a lot of stuff like that. Again, pretty nifty. Now, when it comes to, I could say, vehicle piloting, here, let's go with a basic plane that I just built. F4, F15 combo. Again, the UI of just the vehicles is a little different now. You have the time warp down here. They added a solar panel switch to your kind of quick hit, so you have your brakes, lights, gear, abort, and now you have solar, which is really nice. I always hated having to set up action groups and then forgetting action groups, and then you have a bajillion solar panels that you need to click and manually deploy. Which also on that, this is something I'm kind of I don't know what to exactly think about, because you have a menu that has all of your parts, which I guess for larger vessels, this will be really, really nice. You can, rather than having to click in things if you have stuff inside of cargo bays or whatnot, can be rather, could be rather useful again. You have that, I guess. You have all this cool stuff, so again, you can change. Similar to, just in KSP1, the right-click stuff. Again, you have your SAS controls here. Not exactly sure what a lot of this means, but we'll figure that one out later. I mean, you still have your maneuvers, your target, anti-target, that kind of stuff. I'm assuming this is like your whatever's. You got RCS, SAS. Again, you have your little control, similar to what was, I guess, technically off like right here. Yeah, where you can see if it's drone control, object cycling, whatnot. I guess we can go get the air. Again, I think a cool part of this is just the graphics are brand new. It's a very beautiful environment to play in. Yeah, still here, take off. But yeah, so as we can get a nice little tour of the Space Center from the air. Why not? Like I said, we have our 4 launch pads. I'm curious what that, like I said, I'm curious what they'll do with it if they do include something that actually require you to use all 4. Same with the runways, 2 runways. Again, a lot of other little miscellaneous buildings that we didn't really have in the previous one. Again, I'm curious, and right now I haven't really been able to spot what could be potentially an administration building or that control center. I guess right now we do have, this is presumably going to be a research center. You have your tracking center, presumably astronaut complex, your training center, which also looks like an administrative center. I do not know. They did add a boat launch. So for those of us who like building boats, that is a thing. I'm rather curious what they'll do with it, because there's no real boat parts at this point. But again, like I said, right now it seems like most of the parts are just base game, base game vanilla KSP. So on that note, you see what it looks like. So it's like parking garages over there. Right, a great little spin. We'll probably end up. So yeah, these menus are weird. You now have EVA this way. Again, I don't... Oh. Jeb's fine. Jeb's just fine. That's good to know. Okay. Still can't jetpack around KSC. Big bummer. Actually, you kind of can. Kind of can. Not great, but... yeah. Gets you to the... gets you land. Yeah, rather interesting now. How you have these menus now. Again, probably not my cup of tea. I just like the simple little right click, but I guess it makes it where it's all there. But alas, that is just me. So, The recovery system is also kind of weird. It just simply recovers it, and then you have to manually click to go back. Now, one thing I did not show is you don't actually have to leave that vehicle to go to the tracking station. As we remember, when you hit the escape button, you had return to Space Center and tracking station button. Now, if you just go to the tracking station, you can view the tracking station similar to your map and go right back to your vessel, saving you a little bit of loading time. Again, just one small little thing. I mean, right now it's again, a very simple game, very basic, but like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of growth potential. I'm looking for them to add more of a proper career mode, because like I said, right now it's just sandbox. I'm curious how they'll implement things like contracts, and if they'll continue with that, how they look to do it. Sure, I'm sure the campaign will continue going more and more. I'm sure they're going to add a lot of kind of more deep space technologies than they've already added. Right now we just have some bigger capsules, the big nuclear engines, some electronic components. We haven't really seen a whole lot more. And like I said, we see that that rover capsule for building larger rovers, and I'm sure that's something that's going to continue to grow. So again, looking at that, thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe, and have a nice day.